Hey everyone, my name is Jason Filer, and I'm excited to welcome you to the fourth episode of The Afterglow, the series where I'll be interviewing big names in the barbershop harmony world and figure out the stories behind their music. For this episode, I'm excited to have on the 2022 British Association of Barbershop Singers Quartet Contest champion, Limelight.
Take a great big bow, buddy, won't you take a look at us now? Turn around and take a look at us, give us the limelight and a crowd. Take a look at us now. Look at us now, we're ready to sing our song out loud. Take a look at us now, take a look right now.
Known for their captivating performances of new and old songs alike, Limelight has been enchanting audiences with their new takes on classic barbershop tunes and new arrangements of classic rock and pop songs. In this interview, we'll dive into their creative journey, we'll find out the secrets behind their signature sound, and we'll learn about the moments that have defined their success. So, there's no reason to wait any longer. Get ready to be inspired as we shine the spotlight on Peter, Danny, Luke, and Connor. It's Limelight. How's it going, Limelight?
Hey.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. So, yeah, I have Limelight here today. Such a great quartet. I love watching this past year. So we're just going to get right into it with a few questions. I'm going to start with individual questions for each of you, just sort of, to figure out how you got into barbershop. So, just sort of what was the impetus for getting you guys in here, and then eventually I'll talk about how you guys came together as a group. So we'll start with Peter. How about you? How'd you get into this whole thing?
So, barbershop is very much a family affair for me. So my stepfather kind of introduced me to barbershop when I was 11 years old, which was, how long ago was that? 18 years ago. And the way that he did that was, I know I'm so old. The way that he did that was he took me to the 2006 Babs convention, and the guests that, like, we always have like international guests at the Babs convention, and that year it was Vocal Spectrum and the Ambassadors of Harmony, and that was like my first barbershop experience, was going to Babs convention and seeing those guys, and it just absolutely blew me away, and kind of got back from the Babs convention in 2006 and like straight away asked if I could join my stepfather's chorus. So I joined Hallmark of Harmony in Sheffield in late 2006, and I'm still here. I've sung with a number of choruses and far too many quartets since then. But yeah, it was really Vocal Spectrum and the Ambassadors which started off for me in 2006.
Yeah, awesome. Not bad groups to get you into that.
Yeah, pretty good.
Danny, how about you?
I mean, I guess I've always loved like four-part harmony stuff. I mean, my parents played me the Beatles and the Beach Boys and things like that, and just vocal harmony groups like that. But my first quartet was in college when I was 16, and we were called Cutting Edge Barbershop Quartet, and it was great. And then that sort of lasted about a year, and then it didn't continue. And then
since then.
Say that again.
It's all been downhill since then.
It has all been downhill since then. Yeah. So, and then obviously went to uni, and then I met Luke there, and then I had met Peter at Babs convention in the UK, and then through these guys met the other one, Connor. And then the rest is history. So I guess I was in my teens when I first found out about barbershop, and I guess the video that got me really into it was Lucky Old Son. Crossroads was that was kind of I need to do that. I need to sing that style of music. So that's kind of what got me into it.
Awesome, thank you. Luke, how about you?
I think like the first proper barbershop like video that I watched was Go the Distance, Vocal Spectrum. So like, I think it just came up in my YouTube algorithm when I was like 16, 17, something like that. And I listened to like loads of Disney and that kind of thing, and I was just completely blown away by that. And then, as Danny said, when we met in uni, we decided, let's do a quartet, but we didn't really know what barbershop was or anything like that at all. But we went to the Babs Youth Contest was 2014. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we competed there for that, and we won the youth contest that year singing like totally non-contest music because we literally didn't know, we had no idea what it was really at all, what we were meant to be singing. And Peter was
you
also
still beat my
competing
quartet,
in that year, which was very, very, very funny. He wasn't
Yeah.
happy with us. So yeah, that's how I started out.
Awesome. Thank you. Connor, how about you?
I would think I was maybe 14 in secondary school. And there were three other people who all just decided that for some reason we all wanted to do a barbershop quartet. Wasn't really, again, a bit like them. It wasn't really like barbershop. And there are definitely not some really embarrassing videos of us singing it on YouTube. However, got to uni and then I kind of stopped for a couple of years, and then Luke ended up getting in touch with me to ask me if I would please sing in a quartet, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, there you go. So is that how you guys sort of came together as a group? Like, was that sort of the final thing? Like, how did it come together with all four of you in the same place? How did that sort of happen?
It was kind of, yeah, it was Luke who was like the common link between all four of us. So obviously met Danny at university. Luke and I sang in chorus together for a little bit. Luke sang with Hallmark of Harmony for a bit, so we met through chorus. And then Luke and Connor sing together in the cathedral choir at Liverpool Metropolitan Cathedral. So that's how they know each other. So yeah, Luke's kind of the center of the Quartet web, and brought us all together in early 2019 was our first rehearsal, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, but I chose the name.
Danny chose the name.
I chose
Oh
Limelight.
my God. I'm gonna go through my WhatsApp messages. Give me a sec.
I seem to remember Luke choosing the name The Golden Boys.
Shut up. Oh, don't talk about that.
So how did the name come about though? Because you chose it. What was the idea behind the name?
It's a cool word, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no. I don't think there's any.
Right, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, there's no significance behind it. It just.
Quite
Well, Danny, you tell us all about your thought process when you came up with the name.
Yeah, Danny, it was your idea.
I think some quartets have like a few words to their name, don't they, or like a phrase. But I think one word kind of really stands out, and I think Limelight, like take the limelight on the stage, it kind of is kind of a bit of a statement, I think, which is quite cool. I don't think there was much thinking behind it when I chose the name. I think I was just thinking of random words, and and I've applied this meaning in hindsight. But it sounds nice. It sounds we can do good branding things. We all like limes. We all like margaritas.
Yeah.
You know, it's all.
And since Apple introduced the lime emoji last year, which has just been a game changer for us.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So it's all worked out perfectly.
But the word limelight's got nothing to do with the fruit, has it? Which we all know.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't actually. No, it's
which is a bit sad.
Yeah.
Tenuous, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's some good solid information there. So I just want to ask one more question to each of you. But this is a little more specific. So something that I found interesting about your quartet when I did some research is that all four of you have sort of different backgrounds in terms of like coming from other quartets. So like from what I see, Peter, you sang lead a bunch of times in quartets before. Now you're on tenor. Luke, you sang tenor before. Now you're on Barry. Connor, this is your first quartet, if I'm not mistaken. And then, or like first-ish. And Danny, you like pretty much sang lead before it. Like I think you sang Barry maybe one time before, but pretty much just lead. So like it seems all sort of different things. So I want to go to each of you and see how it's differed your past experiences to this one. So Connor, we'll start with you. Like how is it like? I mean, you mentioned or it seemed like you may have done a little bit of quartet before, but like how is this different?
Yeah, well, so the stuff that we were doing was more like a cappella when I was in school, but there's not really like a big a cappella scene in the UK. And being introduced into like what actual barbershop was very, very different because it's much more technical and it relies on you all having to work very well together. Which as soon as we started in our first rehearsal, I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so Luke, what about you? Because it seems that you did mostly tenor before, so what's it like jumping onto your new part over here?
I prefer it. I think it sits nicer in my voice most of the time. Yeah, I like singing baritone. I think I've got I like being at an inside part. It feels different, doesn't it, to singing on the extremities of the chord. And Peter does tenor better than me, and Danny does lead better than Peter. So it just kind of it kind of slotted in that way.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the sort of I don't. It's not a case of one person doing. Anyway.
You're terrible at everything else, is what I'm saying. So we have to put you in the lead.
You could only sing lead. Yeah.
Yeah. So but Peter, what about you? So you sang lead a bunch of times, and now you're on tenor. How is that sort of different in this group now?
Yeah, I prefer it as well. I kind of always, but when I was growing up with barbershop, I always saw myself as kind of a natural lead. But then I was asked to sing tenor in a chorus, a couple of years before Limelight started, and I kind of found it much more natural, vocally. A fun fact about me: I've actually sung baritone in quartet as well, and it was my first ever quartet, and the fun fact is that I as far as I know, I'm the worst baritone in Bab's quartet contest history. So my first quartet like broke the record for the lowest score that any quartet's ever gotten in the Babs contest.
Congratulations!
So
I know,
amazing.
and nobody's beaten that record so far, and that was how long ago was that? That was 15 years ago. So yeah, I've had quite a journey. Started life on baritone. Spent a little while as a lead. I actually sang at international as a lead with my youth quartet for On Demand. But yeah, I do feel like I've definitely found my kind of vocal home as a tenor. It feels a lot more natural to me, and for my voice. So I do love singing lead though, and I miss it sometimes.
Oh, sorry.
How dare you?
Yeah. So Danny, what about you? So it seems like you've been mostly lead before. I think I also used to sang Barry one time. So what's it like being in the lead slot in this particular group?
I feel very lucky that I have three great singers around me, because I think everyone in this quartet is good enough to be the lead. And you can hear, I think you can hear that in some of our songs when we have the other guys have like solo moments, they shine just as much. So I don't feel, I mean, it's nice. It's good. It's great having such strong singers behind you. I feel like I can really shine as well. So yeah, I do enjoy singing lead. It's also quite easy as well, which is nice. But I also like the time. I also like the moments when we switch parts, and I've got to jump onto the Barry line. I do enjoy that as well. It's you feel clever, don't you? You feel like you're doing something more clever than just singing the tune all the time. So
You've got the moral high ground, haven't you?
Yeah.
No, I do enjoy singing lead, and but only because I've got these guys behind me.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm being so
That's
nice.
super cool.
I know. Why are you being so nice?
Because this is going public.
What do you want? Danny's awful to us in rehearsals, actually.
No, you can't say that,
That's
because
good to know.
there'll be allegations of bullying, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny actually, because like Danny's sung in a few quartets before, and like before I
not
knew
as many
Danny,
as you.
not as many as me, but before I knew Danny, I kind of saw him on stage a few times in quartets, and a lot of people who don't know him get this impression that he's like a little bit egotistical, and you know, because he's got such a great like stage personality, but like actually in real life he's like really stupid and funny and goofy and lovely. And like not many people know that about Danny. But he's actually a really lovely man, but like when he goes on stage he has such a great like stage personality, and he's so confident, that I think people don't always see what he's like in real life.
Are you saying I'm not cool?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
saying you're cool when it matters.
Okay. Okay. Am I appearing cool right now in this interview?
No, no, you're not.
Can we
I
restart?
think you are.
Yeah.
I think you
Okay,
are.
cool.
So we're 1-1 right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's super cool to know about that stuff. So how did you guys come together as a quartet? What made you say like we're gonna compete? We're gonna, go in Babs, we're gonna go to international, what made you do that? Anyone who has any answer for that?
Well, I think the quartet kind of formed with that intention in mind, didn't we? We kind of all knew, like Peter had success with his youth quartets, and so did me and Luke, and we knew Connor was a great singer, and I think we kind of initially put the quartet together with the intention to win Babs, maybe not necessarily, and not necessarily in our first contest cycle, and not necessarily thinking about like America, sorry, the BHS competition as well. I guess we kind of realized that we were maybe better than we were. I don't know. Is that fair to say? We kind of surprised ourselves at how well we did quite early on, and then we just got the bug for it, and we became, like best mates as well. And then it just seemed like the next step to go to BHS, didn't it?
Definitely. I think it just it all gelled and it all locked into place very, very quickly, both musically and kind of personality wise as well. We just get on really well, and we have so much fun, and we laugh a lot at rehearsals.
And we
it's
like
kind of
food.
and we like eating food together. Yeah, I often tell people that we're like a dining club first and a barbershop quartet second, because we like to go out for nice food. So yeah, and I think Danny's right. Like even before our first rehearsal, we were talking about let's learn a couple of songs. Let's go to Babs and see how we do. And I think we were surprised at how quickly we did really, really well in that contest. And it's just kind of we just keep kind of challenging ourselves to see like, well, maybe if we just try this, like see how well we can do in that competition and this one, and yeah, I think it's just it's felt very natural for us to take this path, and it's working so far. So
Yeah. Awesome. So what has been your rehearsal process like? Because I mean, are you guys sort of in the same place where you can meet up all the time, or is it sort of you guys gotta, figure out, oh, we got to get together for one weekend because we're all so far away, and then what do you do during those kinds of times to make sure it's as efficient as possible?
Who wants to answer that?
Ideally, go on, I'll take it. Ideally, like rehearsals can take place if we've got like a gig or something. We all live relatively quite far apart. So Danny lives down in Surrey, which is like a 4 or 5 hour drive for us three who are more in the north of England. But even Peter's all the way across the other side. Peter's like a 3 hour drive away.
yeah,
From
I think
Liverpool.
so. All these
Danny's
scales
down
are crazy, like through the lens of like American barbershoppers who literally fly to quartet rehearsals. So
Yeah.
But yeah, for us,
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
weird.
we are a long distance quartet by our standards, I guess. Yeah.
But most of the time we meet in the middle and just do like a whole Saturday or something, and we tend to meet in or around Birmingham, which is like the middle of the country. So that's
It's a
convenient.
beautiful place.
Is that you being nice to the good people of Birmingham?
Yeah. Yes.
Our
Shout out
rehearsal,
Birmingham.
our rehearsal venue's not that
Shout out
great,
Robanas.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we rehearse in like a little kind of recording studio that like so we have the sound of like rock bands in the rooms next door and upstairs and that sort of thing. So it can be challenging sometimes, but yeah, I think our process just we were talking to Dan from After Hours about this actually, because he was telling us about how the year that After Hours won, their kind of approach to rehearsals really changed, and the year before they won, they were really like taking things seriously and working really hard and really pushing themselves. And then I think it must have been like 2017. They kind of decided, hey guys, this is supposed to be fun. Like we're supposed to be enjoying this. So they just kind of, obviously they still work very hard, but they kind of screwed around a little bit more and would just like sit and watch YouTube videos together during rehearsals, and then they won. So I think we kind of take a leaf out of that book, and like we do work hard, and we're really focused when it matters. But then we're not hard on ourselves when we just want to like sit and watch stupid YouTube videos for 15 minutes. We don't talk much about how do we make the most of our time. I think as long as we're like having fun and we feel like we're making progress, I think that feels like success for us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So you mentioned Dan. Is he like someone who regularly coaches you virtually, or do you have people who come like in person to coach you, or like how do you have any coaches that you like want to talk about or that you've learned anything from? Anyone who has a
Go on, Connor.
Yeah, I haven't spoken much. Dan hasn't really done much coaching for us. He has instead arranged a couple of our pieces. So we've been able to communicate and kind of perform to him and just get his feedback when we've been over the other side of the water. We have done most of our coaching with one of our best friends. We sometimes call him the fifth member of Limelight as well, Chris Langworthy, who was the baritone in one of, I think I'm right, Peter will correct me if I'm wrong now, but I believe they are the most successful youth quartet from Babs, because they got silver.
They got silver in 2018, sorry. Yeah.
There we go. And he's been brilliant for us. And in fact, he's even written one of the pieces that we now also perform. We've also done some like online coaching as well. So we've done stuff before with Brian O'Dell and Will Lagos and Melody Hine.
Yeah.
But we're starting to also use a bit more, so I suppose, specialist coaches as well.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Cool. So let's go to this past convention this year. So how did this one, in terms of like going there, the environment, or even the performances, how did this feel any different from any past conventions for any of you guys?
I think so. So this year was the second time we came to international as a quartet, and in 2023 in Louisville, it was us and like a bunch of other groups from the UK. So that there was Trailblazers and the Breakfast Club and In House, and I'm sure I've forgotten somebody. But yeah, loads and loads of groups from the UK, and Meantime Chorus as well. And we kind of spent a lot of the week hanging out with them. And this year it was kind of us and Barbalicious and the White Rosettes, and we kind of had fewer like friends, if that makes sense. So we kind of found ourselves going out and meeting new people a lot more, and making new friends, which was awesome.
We did make more new friends this year, definitely.
We definitely made loads of friends this year, yeah, which we really appreciated.
Did you?
We did you not?
No,
Maybe.
joking. I'm
Yeah.
joking.
Danny just sat in the corner on his own.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really great to be able to connect with some of the other quartets, especially the ones who kind of we look up to and we aspire to be, on a similar level to. Like secret best friends are our not so secret best friends.
Aptly named you.
Yeah. And Smoke Ring are just absolutely wonderful people as well. We love spending time with them and getting to know them a bit. So yeah, we really valued being able to just meet loads of new people and build our network a little bit.
I think another thing, just like the venue was amazing. The Cleveland Public Auditorium was just like huge. It's probably the most amazing venue I've sung in. Like last year in Kentucky was like a basketball arena, and that was also great. That was very cool. But there was something about the Cleveland venue that was just like very grand, wasn't it? Very magnificent, and it felt really nice. This sounded great on stage for me anyway. Singing in such a big room, so.
It was a very big, very full room there as well, wasn't it? Because obviously the room in Kentucky was just so huge. But yeah, it felt a little bit more empty. But the atmosphere in Cleveland was ridiculous on the finals night in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So now I'm sort of wondering, it's totally fine if you don't. I just tend to ask the groups this just out of curiosity. But do you guys have any like, pre-show traditions or anything that you guys tend to do just, to get ready for each of the shows? Because some groups have like a really particular thing, other groups just sort of go on and do whatever. Do you guys have anything in particular you do that you know of?
Well, we haven't really
It's like
done it so
10
much
shots
recently,
always
but we have our 1 o'clock banana, don't we?
Yeah.
1 p.m. banana.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if we have to like skip a minute, because we don't like to eat like too soon before competing, but we always have a banana, don't we? That often helps. That seems to bring us good luck when we do that.
It gives me energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, we didn't do it before this year, did we? God.
mate. Yeah.
No, that's
maybe
why
that's why we didn't
stopped.
make the 20.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
we didn't get our 1 p.m. banana. Mm.
I suppose it's probably a bit more of a common thing as well, but I suppose we usually get into like a little bit of a group huddle before we go on stage, or sometimes putting our hands in.
3, 2, 1, Limelight. Get your head in the game.
It's very silly, but it makes us happy.
Yeah.
Something we
Whatever
do
makes you
generally
happy.
before competing is we always tend to like. It sounds a bit weird, but we stay out of the convention center for the most part. And Chris suggested this to us before we went to Babs to compete in the year that we won. But we just like went for like loads of walks and things, and just spent loads of time together. So not even necessarily like rehearsing, because we feel that you can't. There's only so much you can do at that point. Do you know what I mean, you've done all the hard work in the weeks leading up to getting there. So yeah, we just spend some time together and go for walks and just do nice things, enjoy each other's company. We think that's kind of a good ritual to have before you actually walk onto the contest stage. Go on, Connor.
We do also tend to have a ritual whenever we have like a weekend where we're rehearsing as well. On the evening, we tend to end up watching the Barbershop Fails video on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that makes us feel better. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
if we're nervous. Yeah.
The transcription of the whole Barbershop Fails video. Why is that not going to come on, Jason?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
great.
I forgot about that video. That's an awesome
Yeah.
video.
I feel like we need an updated version though, because that's quite old now. I'm
There
sure.
are
Oh,
definitely
yeah,
we
different
could-
things that I have made in performances that I could end up filling the whole second video.
Yeah.
Oh, we could recreate that fails video. We could like
But
do a
we
cover
would be.
version.
In
We
competition.
would be all of those quartets.
Oh
they would
my
just cover all of
goodness.
that. Don't be
Yeah,
such
good
a
idea.
fuddy duddy. Anyway, sorry.
It's very good.
Awesome. Okay. Before I'm gonna get into some specific questions about some arrangements and style and whatnot. Before we do that, I want to play just a little game here. So I'm gonna ask. We're just gonna ask a few questions of who's most likely to. All right, and then
Okay.
just to see some more personality things and whatever, and just answer honestly whatever you think is the answer, and then I'll say the question, and then I'll say, "You ready? 3, 2, 1," and then you hold up a number, and it'll be 1 for tenor, 2 for lead, 3 for baritone, 3 for bass for who you think is most likely to do whatever that thing is that I mentioned. Does that make
That's
sense?
good.
Did you say
Yeah.
1 for tenor, 2 for lead, 3 for Barry, 4 for bass?
Yeah.
Going down. Yeah, cool. Right. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. So, first question. Who's most likely to spend all weekend binging a new TV series? All right. 3, 2, 1.
Oh no.
Split that.
Kind of
that's
split,
so-
but
What? Is that me? I think that's me.
yeah.
I don't watch that much TV, do I?
You
literally
messaged
messaged
me
me-
telling you were watching Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you literally messaged me 2 days ago saying, "Have you seen House of the Dragon yet?"
Okay, point taken. Fine.
Okay. What about this next question? Who's most likely to be late to rehearsal because they stopped to pet a dog? All right. 3, 2, 1. Peter, they think it's you. What do you think?
It's fair.
Yeah.
I do love dogs.
You're also the only ones who have been very, very considerably late to a rehearsal.
That
Oh,
was
yeah, that was
because
bad, wasn't it?
that was because I was on a train that hit somebody. That was not
No,
to do.
Yeah,
no,
you can edit that out. That will bring down the mood. Edit that
Was
out.
that- Was that your fault or was it?
That was
someone
not my fault.
Okay, that's good.
What
I just
was-
wanted
what
to
was-
clear that up.
Oh no, I know what Connor's talking about. It's because I got on the wrong train, so I ended up in the Lake District instead of
Oh yeah.
in Chester, where I was supposed to be. Yeah, that's true. That did happen.
There you go. Were there any dogs there? You had to hang out with some
There were
dogs?
not even any dogs. No,
No? Okay.
it was very
Well.
disappointing overall.
All right. Next question. Who's most likely to become a stand-up comedian?
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Wait, you think it's
Yeah.
yourself, Danny? You vote for yourself.
Are you not allowed to do that?
No, you can do that. You can do that. Why do you think it's
Come
yourself?
on. I'm so funny.
Hilarious. Yeah, very good.
I wish I'd voted for myself now as well. We would have all had a vote. One
Yeah.
vote apiece.
Do you guys think that he's as funny as he thinks he is?
The most reliable way to make Danny laugh is just say the word poo.
I knew
There you
this
go.
would come
There
up.
it is.
I knew
Yeah.
this would come up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Danny.
I have a very immature sense of humor, but
You do,
it's
yeah.
okay. It keeps me young.
Yeah. So this
I
is
mean,
what I
if
mean
you're-
about the difference between Danny's stage personality and his real personality.
I see.
This is one of the things.
So wait, Danny, if you're the funny one, then why does Peter do all the talking?
Because I get a bit shy sometimes.
I
And
see.
I'm not
Okay.
and I'm not as eloquent as Peter is. Peter's very good at getting his words out clearly. I start to like fumble or I speak too fast. And then yeah, Pete, do you want to say something?
Well, Peter, you voted for Connor. Why do you think that?
Because Connor's the sort of person who would just try it for fun, because he does that sort of thing. we just like come. We Connor's always done something random when we meet up for a rehearsal, so it would not
That's
surprise me at all if we got
Fair
to a
point.
rehearsal.
Connor's the only one who I could
Yeah.
see even trying it. I don't
Yeah.
think any of us would actually even attempt it.
Like,
Whereas
we
Connor
could-
would be like, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
joined
you're right,
I've
yeah.
joined a stand-up comedy thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have had this conversation before, like who's the funniest, and we all just decided that actually we've got very different styles of humor that
Yeah.
make ourselves laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all just laugh at our own jokes. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
all
it.
that happens.
Well,
This is why
that's a good way
we're
to
not a comedy quartet.
Wait,
That's
what? We're
close
not
to
a
the
comedy
truth that
quartet?
you should be.
All right. Next question. Who's most likely to have a new hairstyle the next time you see them? All right, 3, 2, 1.
Way!
Yeah, we finally all
There you go.
agreed.
You all win. That's
Yeah.
the name of the game. You all won.
We
all
are
right.
we are the wieners.
Do I win a
All right,
wig?
last question. Last question. Who's most likely to stay up all night singing tags?
I mean, based on well, hang on, do the thing.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
Where have you been for the last like 10 minutes?
Yeah,
Three, lots of
maybe,
three.
maybe actually
It's definitely
yeah.
Luke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you do that at this past convention? How was that?
Well, we had to so Peter and Connor had a flight to catch at like 11
Oh.
or something, didn't you? So you went to bed at like 3? Is it 3-ish?
Yeah.
Later than the end, but
And then I think me and Luke stayed up for another couple of hours. It was like was it 5? Can't have been 5.
We went to bed at like 6 a.m. But at that
Yeah.
point, Danny was like, should we just stay awake now? What's the point in going to sleep? And
Yeah, I was like, let's go get a bagel.
yeah, literally, honestly, that was his plan at 6 a.m. And I was like, no, go to bed, you idiot. Yeah, we stayed up late.
It was great fun. Though. It
Awesome.
was really good.
Okay, so cool. That was fun. Now we got to know a little bit about you guys outside of the singing. So let's go back to some of the barbershop of it all. So I want to know, what was the story behind your arrangement of Vienna from last year? Because that was sort of, I felt like it was a big deal from an audience perspective, but you don't really hear a lot of songs like that being done on the international stage. So what was the purpose behind that, and you guys bringing that to this performance?
Well, I think for me, that's one of my favorite songs. And I sing and play piano as well, and that's kind of one of the first ones I learned. And I've been playing it for years. And I actually won my school's version of Stars in Their Eyes. I don't know if you have that in the US, but it's where it's where people pretend to be like a famous singer. So I was pretending to be Billy Joel, and I played that song, and I won that show. And I think Luke, did you suggest we do that one, and then I was like, that's one of my favorite songs, or did I suggest? I don't remember whose idea it was.
I can't remember whose idea it was actually.
But
we all kind of
we
agreed. Yeah, we agreed that Danny sings it very well, and it would suit his voice, and so that was kind of the basis of it. It's funny you ask this because we've been talking a lot about kind of our like Quartet like brand or identity, and I think really it's just kind of probably singing like more like contemporary songs, isn't it? That's kind of something we quite like to do, and try to shoehorn them into a contest arrangement if that's a possibility, for better or worse.
But I think what's nice about Vienna as well was Sam Hubbard did such a great arrangement of it. I think he absolutely smashed it out of the park with the arrangement. I think it suits us as well, but also the timing of it I think was a bit. Obviously we didn't plan it, but it went kind of viral on TikTok as well, didn't it? Vienna became quite popular.
Not our version, the Billy Joel version.
No. Sadly not. And now it's his like most streamed song.
Change that though. Jason could make it happen for us.
Yeah.
Yes, it could possibly.
So I think it's got a newfound popularity as well, which maybe helped more people recognized it maybe when we sang it because of it having like a bit of a comeback.
I think it was really special for us as well because it was we sang it for the first time in the Babs Quartet finals in 2022, which was the year that we won the Babs contest. And at the time, I think this is probably less true now, but at the time it wasn't really that common to do like original arrangements like most people would do, you know, stuff that quartets have done before. And I think it kind of I think we like to think that it helped us because it was a very, very close contest. Like Trailblazers came in just behind us for the silver medal that year. And we like to think that it was that original chart of a song that we really, really loved that kind of pushed us over the finish line that year. So it's special for us as well as a quartet.
It is a weird song though, isn't it? Because we talked a lot about like obviously the performance side of it and what the song actually means. I think Peter, you said this. I think that apparently Billy Joel's even said he's not really sure what the lyric means. You know, when will you realise Vienna waits for you? We don't. Yeah, like it's a bit ambiguous, isn't it? It's a bit kind of.
He's like, oh, maybe Vienna could be about my father, or like it's very. He doesn't really know what he was writing about, or maybe he does, and he's just not said because he's that sort of person.
But I think most bar vehicles are a bit more like on the nose with you know whatever their meaning is. So Vienna felt like a bit of an obscure choice, and we thought that would be maybe a dangerous choice for us to do, but it seemed to work because
that's super cool. I like you had mentioned about the like your style and branding, and I was gonna ask this, but I mean I think you guys have a super cool style, like doing the more like contemporary like pop rock songs, and like using your words shoehorned into the barbershop style. Often more times than other groups do. I was wondering if that's sort of like something that when you guys began, if that was like an intentional decision, like we're going to do this kind of music, or did it just happen based on what you liked and what arrangements you could get? Like, how did that come about to be a part of your identity?
I think it was through trial and error, actually. When we first started, I think our first rehearsal we sang Love Letters, which is obviously a very, very like standard barbershop chart, and then I think we also did Spend My Life With You, instant classic. I think they were the first two songs that we picked up. But yeah, I think that kind of idea of doing more contemporary stuff, we've kind of realized recently is like the ones that we like to sing the most and the ones that seem to resonate the most with audiences seem to be those ones. Like we do a cover of You Make My Dreams by Hall & Oates, which everyone always loves. And we love singing it, and Danny sings it really, really well on lead. And so yeah, I think picking our music for international this year, we were kind of like, I think we thought let's try and vibe with that style a bit, because it felt like that's where we kind of had the most success and where we've had the most enjoyment as well. We've tried some standard barbershop charts before, and it didn't feel like we were doing anything new with them. But I think we, you know, it's something we can bring to the table, I think.
Yeah, it's just some quartets that just have that start, like Full Effect, for example. They take some classic barbershop and they like absolutely smash out the park, and that it sounds incredible. But I don't know if that's necessarily us. Like if we were to try and sing, you know, something that they sang at the in Cleveland, I'm not sure. It wouldn't suit us as well, I don't think so. And I think now we've sort of set that precedent as well. People kind of expect us to do more contemporary things going forwards. So, but yeah, I don't think we ever intentionally set about doing that in the first place. It just kind of happened. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm going to the other side of things. I wanted to know, because take a look at us now when you guys sang that. Really, really great performance this year, and it like showed a really wide range of skills, and it seemed pretty like significant for you guys as a group. I wanted to sort of hear what that was like for the choosing of that song and what the performance meant to you guys as a group in terms of like the lyrics and everything.
So the Let's Talk Barbershop Facebook group.
Yes.
Someone posted in there and said, "Was anyone heard this song from Lila Crocodile? That'll make a great vehicle." And I was listening to it and I was like, yes. so like I don't even know who it was that posted it, but that was literally where we got the inspiration from it. But the second we did listen to it, we all like jumped straight on it and we're like, yeah, this could be huge. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah,
and it kind of tells our story a little bit as well, doesn't it? Like,
yeah,
we've all come from reasonably humble barbershop backgrounds and had long journeys and different levels of success and that sort of thing, and it just felt like when we started this quartet, as I said earlier, like things really gelled together really quickly, and we were suddenly able to do really, really good things because we're a group, and that's kind of what the song is about. Like, look what we can achieve together. So yeah, I think that's what I loved about it. It's a song about us.
It's a song about us, but also there's a wider message as well to other people as well. It's about like if things aren't so great, you can rely on your friends and things will get better. And it's got a more wholesome meaning as well as us being self-indulgent.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's super cool. So just a few questions outside of that. What's your quartet involved in outside of the competition? Just sort of, not in terms of the contest and any of them, just sort of, doing shows or anything like that. What are you guys sort of more involved in?
So we get invited to quite a few like chorus shows here in the UK, which is really nice. It's nice to be invited, and we obviously love performing, and it means we get to do stuff that isn't contest as well. So we like doing like poppy type arrangements of other songs. We're working on Baby Driver as well at the moment, and we're going to sing that at some point. So it gives us a chance to sing. Say again. What did you say?
Said it now. Now we have to do it.
Now we have to do it. Yeah.
I want to edit that out. Scratch that.
It's really hard.
Dang it. It's just nice to be able to perform a variety of different styles of arrangement, which is cool, and just get to meet people on those shows. And sometimes the lineups are really good, and we sing with other quartets, and it's really nice. We've done a few solo like standalone concerts just ourselves, which have been really nice, and people seem to enjoy those. But singing for an hour and a half, just one quartet, is quite a long time, isn't it? Yeah. But those are good fun. And we haven't done any weddings or functions or anything like that, but we have been invited. But it's just a bit logistically tricky because we're all so spread out across the country. But we have spoken about that, and I think we are open to doing that sort of thing. So we're available for weddings, funerals, and bar mitzvahs, everyone.
There's the workshops as well, which so Luke and Danny are both involved in an organisation called Rock Choir, which is like a sort of national community choir organisation, just like organises choirs across the country. So Luke and Danny both run a number of these choirs, and we've put on kind of partly as part of our fundraising efforts to come to international, but also just a sort of general outreach. We've run a couple of workshops for like rock choir members, introducing them to the barbershop style and like getting them singing tags and stuff like that. And that's always really awesome to do. Getting singers and introducing them to the style and just like seeing their eyes light up when they ring a barbershop chord. That's really awesome.
Yeah,
we love that.
Awesome. So you'd mentioned briefly doing arrangements that you don't have to worry about being in the contest form. Speaking of those, I wanted to hear the story about the Beatles medley, because for me, I think that's my favorite performance of yours. I'm a huge Beatles fan, so seeing all that stuff I know I saw on your shirt. I love the Beatles. Those are a bunch of Beatles records right there. So
sweet.
It's a big deal for me. So when I saw that, I was like, this is totally up my alley. I love this. So I just wanted to hear, how did that come about? What was it like for you guys to sing something of that, of that magnitude, and just anything else about that arrangement, because it's such a big deal.
I'm really hesitant to say this, but this was actually Danny's idea this time. We all agreed it was a brilliant idea, and obviously, like you say, there's just so many good Beatles songs. It was really, really hard to get it down to a short list of 6. Like honestly, like we were kind of battling with that for so long, and yeah, we had to make some pretty like brutal cuts. We had this idea of that we'd all have kind of like a feature in it as well, so each of us would take the lead for at least one of the songs. It was in our championship years. We won Babs, and we knew we'd have to do a swan song the following year in Bournemouth, and we just wanted to do something a bit batshit insane. To be honest, that was just pretty much the idea. We wanted to do something a bit crazy, and oh my god, like it was a lot of rehearsing, wasn't it? Like it was. We didn't do anything other than that for 2 or 3 months. Just every rehearsal was just working away at it. And Sam Hubbard again did the arrangements. Who did Vienna and You Made My Dreams as well.
Yeah.
And Sam knocked it out of the park. Like, oh my god, yeah. Sam talks about his like process for arranging it, and he described it as living in the chart for 3 months. And I think that kind of shows his genius really, and what a gifted arranger he is, and how I think how much justice he wanted to do, because again, he's a huge Beatles fan, as we all are, as most people are. Has anyone else got anything to add about the Beatles?
I was just going to say, it's kind of, I suppose it's got a bit of a connection to our spiritual home. So Luke and myself both live in Liverpool, Luke being a natural bred Scouser, me being an inherited one. Danny went to university in Liverpool as well, which apparently had absolutely nothing to do with the Beatles whatsoever. And Peter just has occasionally visited.
I also exist. Yeah.
I actually met my wife, my now wife. She wasn't my wife at the time because I hadn't met her yet. But I actually met her in the Cavern Club. I was singing in the band, and she had organised the gig, and I met her afterwards, and then the rest is history. So it's got a special place. Liverpool and the Beatles in general have got a special place in my heart. So yeah, to have like a showpiece like the Beatles medley, it's just it's a great thing to have. It fills time because it's 10 minutes long, and it's just really fun to sing, and people sing along as well, which I love. So
yeah,
it's great.
I want to call it when we were. It was literally the weekend before we sang it for the first time at that Swan set in 2023. We had a weekend with Tim Briggs, who coached us, and he helped us with all the kind of staging stuff, like all the movements, and just keeping it visually interesting, and helping us with some of the singing and stuff as well. But the last day of rehearsal that we had on that was possibly one of the worst hangovers that any of us have ever experienced.
Bad.
because it was very bad. Because Tim was only supposed to be there for the Saturday, but then we like sent him away to go and get his train back home, and they'd cancelled all the trains, so he was stuck in Liverpool. Where we were rehearsing, and so we decided, okay, well, let's go and get a beer, and then that lasted several hours.
It wasn't beer; it was espresso martinis, wasn't it?
It turned into
four
espresso
espresso
martinis.
Yeah.
It turned into espresso martinis and Negronis, and
Oh yeah.
the day after, we were like, guys, we've got to finish the Beatles medley, so we had to like get ourselves out of bed. We had to like get hydrated, get caffeinated, and Tim really helped us get through those challenging times. But yeah, that was
the worst day of my life.
but it worked. We pulled it off, just about.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so just a few last things. I want to go and just go around to each of you and see if you have any sort of inspirational people that you know of who've sung your part before that you take a lot of inspiration from. Could be anyone, people you know, people you don't know, just sort of anyone that you think has really inspired you to learn how to sing your own part better. So we'll just go, Peter, how about you first?
It's kind of a cliche answer, but it's Tim Warwick for me, on tenor. I feel like there are very few tenors in barbershop who don't want to be more like Tim Warwick. And you know, as I said, Vocal Spectrum was kind of one of the first groups that I saw, and I've just always looked up to them. Just the kind of the effortlessness with which he sings outrageously challenging music has always really inspired me, and I like it when he sings in full voice really high. So I try and channel that sometimes with limited degrees of success. But no, yeah, it's Tim Warwick for me, definitely.
Awesome. Danny, how about you?
I think it's kind of changed throughout the years, I guess, because like I said, the Lucky Old Son Crossroads, I think Mike Slamka was like, he's got such a soulful voice, and I just love the way that I just love his voice and how soulful it was. But then kind of as I've developed my voice and I've realized how my voice copes, I've kind of taken inspiration more from leads like Drew Ochoa from After Hours, and Anthony Fortino as well from Midtown. Like they're both really expressive, very like musical theatre almost, and I'm trying to emulate that a little bit. And their singing is just quite effortless as well. So that they're kind of who I would like to aspire to kind of sound like and perform like as well.
Cool. Luke, how about you?
I think about this a lot for the last like 30 seconds. I think I probably have to say Brian Ziegler, just like one of the most technically proficient, like brilliant singers like I've ever heard. Like I think he's potentially the best singer in the whole society. Just like range, color, tone, expressiveness. Obviously can like kind of take the back seat and just be like the most invisible baritone sound, but then comes forward for like features or takes a solo numbers, and he's just so good. Honorable mention to Emmanuel Roll, just for his like really like comfortable in his own skin energy. Like I wish.
And why is he there?
That's something I. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all that stuff. He's just brilliant, isn't he? Yeah, a toss up between those two potentially.
Yeah, awesome. And Connor?
So I suppose the first one would be Chris Hallam in Vocal Spectrum. He was the one who kind of got me into barbershop in the first place. And then the ones who kind of kept me hooked to start off with were Jake in Newfangled 4, but also Martin in Ringmasters. Just they were the ones who kept me interested in the first place until I started with Limelight. At which point it was Dan Wesler. But then I suppose probably the person who's been trying to motivate me to be better over the last year, Chris Keogh in 3.5 Men. I wish I had even 10% of the attitude that he brings in his voice permanently.
Sick.
Yeah.
I have a
Fantastic.
as these guys were talking, I thought of another kind of honorable mention, I guess, to Kevin Juliana from Secret Best Friends, who's my absolute tenor hero. So yeah.
Yeah. All a bunch of great answers. No wrong answers there for sure.
Who's
All
yours?
right.
Oh
Sorry?
yeah, who's yours?
Mine? Oh,
Yep.
geez. I had not even thought about that for this kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
Bring
hard.
it back on me. I tend to sing baritone, so I guess. Wow. I think maybe Gary Lewis. I know he kind of jumps
a
around
good
a lot,
call.
but when he's on
That's
baritone,
a
I
cheap nose for an
just
answer. Yeah.
I'm just like, like always in awe of what he can do on the baritone slot. So definitely a great pick for me. I also think Johnny Maroney from Vocal Spectrum too. I know
Oh
we have a lot
yeah,
of Vocal
yeah, yeah.
Spectrum here, but he can go anywhere in the range, do anything, and just it's always perfect. So that kind of thing is super inspiring. Yeah. Well, thank you for asking me. So very last thing, any other just stories that you guys know of that you talk about that you think of that you're like it would be just be cool if a audience of people who have only ever watched us sing would just hear about these funny little stories. If not, that's totally fine, but if you have anything that you just want to share, anything funny, anything serious, whatever at all.
I suppose the very first time that we were competing in a competition, we ended up being beaten by 9-year-olds.
Deservedly.
True.
Shout out
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
Minims. You guys
The
are great.
Minims, we love the Minims.
They were amazing. But yeah, we competed in like a music festival near where Danny lives, and there were 2 contestants in our category, and we came second, and the winners were the Minims, who were 9.
Well,
Wow.
didn't we get disqualified as well?
We may have got disqualified. Yeah,
We may
that's possible.
For what?
For like, it was supposed to be an amateur contest, and
Like
they
a novice
said
quartet
we
contest,
weren't. Yeah, we weren't novice. We
Oh.
weren't amateur enough, basically.
So
So
did you lose because you got disqualified, or did you lose because you didn't sound as good?
Because we
well,
were not as good as them. Definitely because we were not as good as them.
Yeah,
we were not as
not as good.
no,
Yeah.
they were great.
All right. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that the audience gets to hear more about how you guys are like outside the contest, outside of singing, but also, some stories from during your contest times and all those arrangements and things like that. And seeing, hearing from you guys individually about your backstories, about your parts and things like that. So this has been super awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll see you again very, very soon.
Thank you for
Thank you.
asking us. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jason.